Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. VL from the Department of English, Government Arts and Science College, Kandoti. This is the second video lecture on creative writing. This lecture tries to look at a brief definition of creative writing, 5 phases of creative writing, one of the topics meant for study in the creative writing course of functional English offered by the University of Calicut. Before going to the 5 stages of creative writing, let us have a look at what creative writing is. To define creative writing simply, it is a sort of writing in which thoughts, emotions, and expressions are aptly blended with imagination. So, creative writing is a writing where there is presence of thoughts, emotions, and those thoughts and emotions are expressed using a special kind of language. And it is writer's imagination which tries to blend language, thoughts, and emotions in a very apt way. So we can say that an elite use of language, great expression of thoughts, presence of emotions and feelings, and blending those thoughts and emotions with appropriate expressions with the help of imagination. This is what constitutes creative writing. So, creative writing will have an element of imagination in it. So, blending expressions and thoughts in a very apt, striking way is the function of imagination in creative writing. We will look at 5 phases of creative writing. The first phase is planning. Sometimes it is also called pre writing or preparation or incubation. In this stage, the writer does preliminary work to start his writing. For example, he goes on reading certain books which will help him write the text. Or this is a stage where the writer has vague ideas of what he is going to write. Sometimes it can be an experience in his life, or it can be a feeling that he had for a long time, which he kept dormant in his mind, which he always thought of writing about. So, planning stage refers to a stage where the writer has a vague idea of what he is going to write and what kind of a genre he wants to write when he wants to start writing. So, he has an inspiration to write, but that inspiration has not taken a concrete shape to be put into words. This is special about planning phase. He has an idea, he has a theme in his mind, but all these things are not very clear. They have not taken a concrete shape for the writer to start writing. In this preparation stage, the writer does some preliminary reading about what he wants to write. He may start reading writers whom he thinks can help him to write, or he may spend some time reading those writers whom technically he would like to be a good influence on him. So, this is that stage. And the second stage is drafting, or it is also called writing. In this stage, the writer gets into writing. So the idea that was there in his mind in the pre-writing stage has emerged more concrete, and it is time for him to start writing. So he has fixed in this stage, the writer decides what kind of a genre he wants to write. Is it a poem or a short story or a drama or something else? So the initial lack of clarity about what is to write, how to write, all these things in one sense have gone and they have taken very clear forms, and the writer has decided those elements, what is going to write and what it is and how it is and what is it about. These things have taken clearer frames in this stage, and he starts writing, and he has decided his theme and he has decided the format in which he wants to write, and he has chosen the genre which he wants to write. So this is drafting, where the writer starts actual writing. And the third stage is redrafting or revising. Writer is the first critic of his own writing. After doing some writing, the writer looks back at his own product, how it is. He starts reading it from a critical perspective. Sometimes he feels unhappy about what he has written and he wants to do some corrections. So he makes changes here and there, or sometimes he makes major change. He abandons the whole text being written and does a rewriting, or he starts afresh. So this is a stage where the writer is acting as a critic on what he has written, and he does changes. Sometimes the characters may be changed, or the theme may gets changed, or he might make some changes in the theme, or he might even abandon one genre of writing. For example, he decided to write a poem, and as he started writing, he felt no, it's not possible for him to go ahead with this genre of writing, so he may switch from that into a short story. So this is redrafting or revising, critically looking at what the writer has written, or the writer being a critic of what he has written, is special about this stage. At times, he may limit changes into minor alterations, but at times he may bring about a drastic change of the draft. Once the writer feels quite happy about what he has written, once he has completed doing all kinds of revisions and redrafting, the final draft emerges. And if the final draft is complete, the next stage is going into editing. So, editing stage is a stage where the writer sends his manuscript to an editor, to a publisher. This is a stage where a professional editor looks into what the writer has written, or a professional critic tries to critique what the writer has written. And this is a stage where the writer's text is closely and critically analyzed to make it better, to improve its quality in terms of language, in terms of technique, in terms of appeal. In editing, linguistic corrections are made. In editing, thematic corrections are also made. In editing, sometimes the manuscript is sent back to the writer with certain suggestions, saying that he has to incorporate these changes, or he has to make some changes here and there, and suggestions are given for further improving the text. The last stage is publishing. Once editing work is done, once necessary corrections that the publisher or an external expert thinks are necessary for the work, when these suggestions are incorporated and the text is being revised, it is sent for publishing. Publishing is the stage where the text becomes complete. It's a stage where the text reaches to the hands of readers. It's a stage where the writer realizes his goal. It's a stage where the writer gets his product being delivered into readers. It's a stage where the writer gets access to a wide range of readers. This is a stage where the writer realizes his aim of writing, that is, getting into readers and getting feedback from the readers. The writer understands the readers have accepted him or not. And unless it gets published, the writer's text doesn't reach a wide circle of readers. So these are the 5 stages of creative writing: planning, drafting, redrafting, editing, and publishing. This is all about today's lessons. If you find it's very useful, try to subscribe and also to share this with other students who would find it equally useful.